Welcome and welcome. I'm Jim Pyers, and welcome to episode 42 of the UnWired podcast. I am Jim Pyers, aka The Wire, your UnWired host. Today we have a great show, just me, so let's get to it. Today I'm going to talk about AI computers, specifically the one I just purchased. It's a state-of-the-art Microsoft Windows CoPilot. It's a Snapdragon-based Surface Pro. So we're going to look at that device in depth. I'm going to tell you what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, what's good, what's coming. There's a lot of hype around these new devices. So we're going to talk a little bit about the reality. Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about why I had to go out and do that. My old Surface Pro 6 bit the dust. However, this one's going to be it's going to be interesting. So first, we'll show you kind of the unboxing and what components came with the device, and then we're really just going to get into how tough it was to set up, what are some of the limitations, what are some of the good things. Qualcomm's been in the PC business for quite a while. Of course, Microsoft was always reticent to stand up another competitive device to the Intel, Wintel family. And so it seems like at this point, it's very competitive. It's very interesting too. So I'll tell you why here in a minute. But we always start the show with our Chuck Norris fact of the day. Got a couple of good ones today. These were sent to me by a couple of my friends just to remind me. These are some of my favorite. First one, Death once had a near Chuck Norris experience. I like that one. And the second one today is, how many push-ups can Chuck Norris do? The answer is all of them. All right. So let's move on to the fun stuff. So today we're going to talk about what is reported to be the ultimate ARM-based PC. And you're all probably very familiar with the difference between Intel and that instruction set and the ARM instruction set. Historically, ARM has been mostly on mobile devices. So handsets use the ARM architecture. It's I guess open source is the right way to categorize it. You license the ARM technology, and this has been going on a long time in the mobile space, but it's new in compute. Not that new, but pretty new. And really where these devices are usable for sure is and competitive with Wintel. Windows had to completely port their product onto the ARM-based instruction set. Some applications still have to use Intel, so there's I guess what would be termed a kind of a virtual machine that allows the Intel applications that haven't been compiled for ARM run on the ARM-based PCs. But my concern was always there was going to be apps that, that I needed that didn't work. So a few weeks ago, I purchased and I'll tell you a little bit about the hardware. So I purchased, it's a Surface Pro 2-in-1 laptop tablet. It's the 13-inch. It's got a touch screen. It's an OLED display on this one. Snapdragon X Elite, which is the 12-core. It's their latest compute processing family. It's kind of the high end. I got 32 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. In shopping for these are new devices. They just came out this year. But in shopping for these devices, I couldn't get exactly what I wanted. for Microsoft. Well, and I needed something fast because my computer crashed. So I was using my son's computer while I tried to figure out what to get. So I went and I really thought about I wanted to get a Surface. I wanted to get one with mobile broadband. Um, but in the configuration that I ultimately wanted, and I do development on this machine, so I need I need a lot of resource, so memory and storage, and locally. So it was tricky finding. Well, and ultimately I didn't find exactly what I wanted, because what I wanted was this configuration on the Surface Pro with mobile broadband, and that just wasn't. I would have had to order, and it would have been quite a while before I could have got the machine. So I just had to compromise on that one feature, which is important. Um, but and I also didn't get to pick my color and a couple other minor details because I needed it right away. Had I been able to wait, I would have got more or less the same configuration, maybe a different color, but I definitely would have added the mobile broadband. Also, I did shop for other. So Surface Pro is what I wanted. I like those machines. I like the flexibility of having the tablet and the PC in one device. But I did look, I went and looked at the Dells, the Lenovo's. I looked at the HP. I looked at some of the other ARM devices, and very good looking products. And I would have went that way if there would have been something available right away. So I would just caution you, these devices, they're in high demand, it seems like. And if you're wanting to get something fast, you know, don't wait, get started. But if you can take your time, I think you can find what you like in combination. Yeah, the Lenovo and Dell devices looked very impressive. I obviously like the Surface um, architecture, although I don't like that they soldered their hard drives on my 6. I could not get the hard drive out without going to the soldering iron, which yeah, I didn't feel like doing that. But I do understand, and I got to confirm this, but the Snapdragon device that I got does have a removable hard drive. So at least if disaster strikes, because taking these screens off is also not for the faint of heart. But if you have to, I think it can be done in this architecture, which is very nice. Sometimes even after something goes south, like you drop it and crack your screen or whatever, you at least can pull the hard drive out so you don't have to reinstall the entire machine like I just did. So we're going to talk about that too. Yeah, my biggest concern about going this direction was application compatibility. And so I'm going to show you kind of the apps that I have installed on this. We're going to look at that, and I'm going to just starting off with the basic Windows tools. Pretty much everything moved over seamlessly except for Outlook. And I have a unique way, and not unique, but I just have a lot of email addresses because I'm involved in a lot of different companies where I have separate emails. And that was very problematic in getting it to work the way I wanted to. Ultimately, I just had to suck it up and reinstall everything. That was cost me quite a bit of time for basically to get the machine back to where the one I had that was crashed. It took me a week of setup, and there's some reasonable reasons for that, but legitimate reasons. But also I'm going to go into the configuration, the setup, what I had to do to get everything running the way I wanted to. I'm not going to really worry too much about Office. I use Office for work, and so I needed that suite. And my kids use it for school, so I have the family suite. So there was issues getting it up and running, but it appears those apps are all native. So Microsoft seems to have done a good job. I use Teams and I use PowerPoint, when Word, um, Outlook, and so yeah, I got all those up and running pretty seamlessly, and OneDrive and all that mapped over pretty nice to the new machine, just by logging in to Windows. Also, will say my machines were all Windows 10. I had two that went south on me. Not a super fan of Windows 11, and I avoided upgrading it, and all the nasty prompts from Microsoft for a long time, for kind of good reason. The reason I let it go this time too is I wanted to really try the CoPilot experience and see on these CoPilot PCs how integrated CoPilot is and how good, what if it's really a difference maker. And I will say, the AI capabilities are nice. Um, in our work streams, we use AI significantly, and I jump between tools and validate the tools against the other tools. So I'm using most of the kind of the AI tools that about. We use for work. We use ChatGPT. We use Gemini. We use Perplexity. We use a bunch of the tools, and we kind of play them off each other to see, to validate the results. You still, in the current suites of AI, you really have to validate the information and the sources. Uh, they're notorious for coming up with really great quotes and sources, and but the links don't work. And so you got to do your homework, a little bit, like some journalism. You really got to validate your sources, with AI, to avoid to avoid any problems. Anywho, we're looking at. I'll just show you my application list. So this is beyond Office, and I'm just going to share my screen quick, and I'll just show you the. So you're looking at my main home screen, and what you can see here. Hopefully, you can see my mouse moving around, but you got a bunch of developer tools, that I'm using. This isn't all of them, though. I just slapped a few on the home screen so we could talk about them. But uh, I've I've used all these tools under Windows 11 now on this device. Most of them seem to be native tools. They've been ported over to ARM. Not all, I think, but most, and they're working well. So I've actually put them to use, and I'm happy with how things are working. The performance is really good. Had to use this on the plane a couple times now, and the battery life was exceptionally good. Had some long flights to the East Coast, and the battery held up really nicely while I was working using both tablet mode and PC mode. The I'm trying to think of some of the installation challenges that I really had, but not, I would say on the developer side of things, it's pretty smooth. I got all these up and installed, got my applications running, um, installed all the browsers that I need to test. You can see I got a few over there on the left. You can see, Firefox and Brave and Chrome. And so you got a few browsers that we need to test our applications in. And yeah, I would say that from that point of view, went pretty smooth. as I mentioned earlier, I got stuck on a few of the I got stuck on a few of the office tools. That might have been my own doing. So anyway, that's that's kind of the quick story of what I installed to get set up. Going to talk. So you noticed I did have the Snapdragon logo on there. I want to talk about the Snapdragon Elite just a little bit. Really interesting product, and I would say, and okay, this version is only the Surface Pro Wi-Fi. So I've got, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth only. The Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi 7, and I'm pretty happy with the way it's been setting up in the performance. It's Bluetooth 5.4. I will say on the Bluetooth side, I use some funky stuff like a Logitech mechanical keyboard. It's kind of a gamer keyboard. I just like it better. And what I've noticed is if I'm switching between keyboards and things, a lot of times I have to actually uninstall the keyboard and reinstall the keyboard. It's happened to me I have some Microsoft mice, but they're older with my previous Surface, and I've had to do a lot of uninstalls, reinstalls on Bluetooth, especially traveling around. So I'm not sure if that's me or it's because of the old equipment. I haven't really looked into it, but that's been bugging me a tad. The display is beautiful and the very snappy, and no pun intended. And the tablet mode, very very sensitive to the touch and works really nicely, very smooth. So really nice capabilities there. And one of the reasons I wanted to get this device was to see the integration of CoPilot. And I will say at this point, it's still a little, I want to be negative. It works well, but I would just say it's separate. So it's still like an app. It's not seamlessly integrated into the things that your workflows, which I think is the promise of this, getting away from the app model and into more that your assistant is actually pulling together all the data from all the different data sources and applications. I think this kind of Uber, quote unquote, type application, or, I like to call it God mode, where it's just looking down and pulling everything you need out of it. And so I think there's it's early days. I'd also say I wanted to know which applications actually take advantage of the Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite platform. So what apps are actually already designed and using this onboard NPU? And it's I know Qualcomm's been working on this for quite a few years, so it's fairly mature. And I would say that the applications that do take advantage of it seem to be powerful. So some of the things that uh, I made a quick list. It's going to run down. These apps are already integrated. They're Microsoft tools. So the Windows Studio effects, there's a super resolution capability, really helping games for gamers, actually the first two. And then Microsoft Paint co-creator. It's for all your digital AI artwork projects. The recall feature is something I haven't tried to use. It seems to have a lot of promise, and it's been a little controversial because it came and went. So I'm going to give that a try. I'll be updating you on that in the subsequent. I want to see the value of that in live situation. There's also live captions for video content, which I think is real interesting for podcasters and content creators. And Adobe, so Photoshop and Premiere are leveraging, and I have not used that yet. The only Adobe product I use is the Acrobat stuff for PDFs, but I might give Photoshop another try. So those are some applications that we know are already trying to take advantage of the NPU on this compute platform. I think enterprise is going to be a place that starts to take advantage of this over time. And the other cool thing I think that needs to be explored is running these models at the edge. This capability does exist in this compute platform, and I've been exploring the tools and what's necessary for optimizing those models for the edge. And I think I'm going to do a whole separate show on that. So that's definitely coming, but I would say not here out of the box yet. So what else did I want to talk about? Well, yeah, and I did want to just give you a list of those tools. I'm using VS Code, Flutter, Dart, Postman, Bitbucket. You saw some of those, Source Tree, Python, Git, etc. There's some databases I have loaded that have all been working well. And so I've been able to build apps and compile and do whatever I needed to get done without any problems on this new architecture. So happy days. What also anything else I want to show you? I think that's about it. So I'm gonna leave you with some video of the devices themselves, and I'm gonna put all this in the show notes and a lot of the details. I'll show you what product I purchased, how much it cost, where I got it from, and yeah, I hopefully you'll be trying these out soon. I would say that from my view, it's definitely a buy. The I like I was thinking about the larger screen size too, and there was also an issue about getting it quickly. But I'm pretty happy with the 13 inch. It's a lot of real estate. It's still pretty light device. So I'm not sure if I maybe go for a second one, I might try the 15 inch. Got to double check if that's true. But anyhow, good job, Qualcomm. Nice job, Microsoft. The packages come together. It's complete. Really didn't run into any showstoppers, which is a good thing. And yeah, nice device, nice machine. If you like this video, please visit me at wiresworld.net. You can support the show by wiresworld.net/donate. You can leave your comments there. This is going to be a video and a podcast, audio only. So both you can get anywhere you can get a podcast. You can get UnWired, and usually I'll post these to YouTube. So have a look. Thanks again for joining the show, and yeah, send me any questions you have. Happy to try to answer them for you. That was the CoPilot Snapdragon X Elite Surface Pro. Anyway, thanks a lot. Enjoy.